everyone. I'm very excited to be here today with Maximilian Von Poelnitz, who is the founder and CEO of NOSH.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. We actually have the honor to have Maximilian here as a mentor at FinHACK, which is the FinTech Hackathon in collaboration with WHub and Societe Generale. Thank you actually for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Obviously, everybody is interested to hear a little bit more about the story of NOSH, which really started as a food delivery on demand type of mission, but you scaled it to a completely new level. Tell us more about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we've been quite lucky. It's been nearly 4 years, and we brought on money from Alibaba Entrepreneur Fund about 2 years ago, and then went out looking for our Series A. As a business, we're now focused not just on one brand, but we have a variety of different brands across different food needs, and are building a cloud kitchen infrastructure and operational model. So basically helping distribute thousands of meals in a city for only the delivery space. And then the reason I think I'm at this FinHACK event is because I also was working, or I spend more time now advising businesses, and I was the interim COO of a financial payments business in Palo Alto and Portland, Oregon.
Yes, brilliant to have you back in Hong Kong now, but I guess a wonderful experience over there. You're very active as a mentor, right, in general as well. Fantastic. But again, coming back to NOSH, so we had a very interesting discussion where you mentioned the whole environment and ecosystem, right, around restaurants, food, catering is changing, whereas restaurants maybe used to do only 5% of their business with, takeout and delivery food. This is now, you mentioned, going up to 40%. So what's happening? How do you support that movement?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite, I mean, for people who aren't in the space, I mean, as a customer, you of course are now so used to Alibaba in China, or maybe Deliveroo here in Hong Kong, or Food Panda maybe in Southeast Asia, that you haven't noticed the shift. But it's been truly incredible when you think about how much has moved A, online, B, into apps, C, into delivery, and really the expectation is that I can hit a button and get food delivered. Now, the truth behind that simplicity is way more intense. And when you think about a restaurant who might be spending $20,000 in rent, and if all of that is now being delivered, that actually doesn't make sense economically. So what we do is we actually build out central kitchen infrastructure in a city where we fundamentally change how food is delivered, right? Rather than it being delivered specifically from a restaurant, it's delivered from these central kitchen points, these what's called now ghost kitchens or cloud kitchens. And in essence, we see ourselves as the Asia operator. So, enabling that to work.
Right, and so NOSH has started here out of Hong Kong, right? Yeah. But you have seen other ecosystems around the world. And again, coming back to the problems that you solved, could you explain a little bit, or do you think, that Hong Kong really was a key enabler, a catalyst for you to develop the business? What are the advantages of, starting up here in Hong Kong for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think, on a Hong Kong specific side, I think the best thing in Hong Kong is that it's highly competitive, right? I don't care what industry you're in. To try to succeed in Hong Kong requires you to be quite nimble. It requires you to be very responsive to trends and execute very, very well. And so taking those skill sets and applying them into any other market is of course hugely useful. But I think for us personally, Hong Kong has been valuable because we have been able to test out a lot of theories with customers as well as operators. And because the real estate here is so expensive, any play that helps minimize the cost of real estate is seen as positive in Hong Kong.
Right, and we talked about the hyperconnectivity as well, right? And it's getting in touch with business opportunities on the one hand side, very specific problem statements, but also meeting people, right? You mentioned even some of these opportunities for you moving outside of Hong Kong, going to Palo Alto. These are all connections that you have built here in Hong Kong.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Hong Kong is still absolutely incredible. It's a small pond, right? So in essence, what that means is A lot of people know each other in many different industries. In general, people are trying to help each other, right? I think everyone, especially in the startup scene in Hong Kong, I don't care in what industry you're in, we all want to see each other succeed in some way. So there is this collaborative culture that exists, especially among the founders. And I can only hope that that will continue.
Right, brilliant. Now, we mentioned, startup life and, being a founder is not always easy, right? There are ups and downs. So what pushes you through the downs? What is your secret sauce? What is your startup passion?
I don't actually have like a magic answer to that. I think that what I don't like is I don't think it has anything to do with passion. People mention passion a lot. I think the
Oh my God, I think we're gonna have to cut that out, right? Because our hashtag is startup passion. But
is it?
No, go ahead. No, no, that was just keep it going. Actually,
I'm a bigger fan of perseverance because in the sense of just, I mean, sure, passion will help you persevere, I guess. But at the end of the day, a lot of my perseverance comes less from passion and more from like responsibility. I feel like I have a responsibility to my staff. I have a responsibility to my investors not to quit no matter what. That has nothing to do with passion. That's just like shit. Like I can't give up. And that, you wait long enough, something will happen. And I think most people just quit too early or just at the wrong time.
Right. No, fantastic. Because actually, when you describe what it is, I mean, that's what we call passion. We call it perseverance.
Okay.
But that's fantastic. That's brilliant. I love it. Any tip, advice you would give to first-time entrepreneurs or even, fellow founders in terms of what really helped you?
I think as long as you have a core view of what you want to do. So in our case, our core view is food delivery can be better, right? And we're focused on delivery only. Now within that, you might pivot 100 times. Even talking to these guys out here, right? A lot of them are really concerned that they need to have it right. The first idea needs to be right. And my view is, well, no, it doesn't. Like, to be quite frank, it's going to change so often. What you should know is what you want to do. If you can be true to that, you'll find a solution that works for you. And in our case, that solution is, okay, helping our customer, find unique ways to get delivered food. For other people, it's going to be different.
And healthy and good food, absolutely. So it's the perseverance, it's the purpose, right? And the passion, so just put the third keyword. But absolutely fantastic. So a little plug maybe still on FinHACK. So you have seen a couple of teams, I think in total 26 teams out there. Is there one thing that strikes your mind, like, okay, these guys have a brilliant
there's one really cool one. So there's this, and I have no idea if they're going to be able to do this, but they basically are looking at indoor Wi-Fi connectivity and using that to geo-target someone in a building more appropriately, which then has all sorts of implication for transactional and credit cards and how to, if you know that you're walking by a location in a mall, how does that interact? But it all starts with the core tenement of, I need to position your phone in some way into a 3D space. So anyway, a lot of cool stuff out there.
Brilliant.
And we'll see how people do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maximilian. It was great to have Maximilian Von Poelnitz with us, founder and CEO of NOSH. And actually, we forgot to mention you're expanding very soon into other markets. Just let me know again which other markets you're expanding to.
Singapore and South Korea.
Okay, so you can also have great food over there. So thank you so much.